Hey, welcome to this video. We're going to talk about how to build infrastructure with prevention-specific policies, resources, and data systems that engage workforce and leadership and support them in their roles, while also building collaborative relationships across the organization. We're going to implement preventative activities drawn on a thorough understanding of the problem. We will have comprehensive planning and continuous evaluation. Let's dive into it. Welcome. I am glad that you're here for this video, and we're going to move as quick as possible. On the right side, we've got the slides. On the left side, we've got a mind map of some of the components. We're going to interact with the mind map as I move through this presentation. If you feel at any need that you need to pause the video to read the material on the screen, please do so. So let's understand the concept. A lot of organizations have reactionary cybersecurity policies in place. They respond to something instead of building infrastructure that is resilient and resistant to attacks. So we are experiencing a change in how we build information systems and data systems and how we're going to configure the data that exists there. Why is there a need for a paradigm shift? The limitations are we only have so many hours in the day, we only have so much money in the bank. We have to be able to understand where we're going to spend our efforts and how we're going to build systems that are resilient against a cyber attack or a nefarious actor. We've seen so much rise in the impact of cyber problems and businesses, people's privacy and livelihood. So what are the key components of a consequence-driven cyber-informed infrastructure? What do we need? We need to have very clear policies that are prevention specific. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. We need to make sure that we have resource allocation and that we have data systems that let our teams communicate before, during, and after an incident. So what are we going to talk about in that first part, right? When we're talking about consequence-driven cyber-informed engineering, we need to understand the events, cyber events, and apply a scoring method to them. Additionally, when we move to phase 2, we need to enable our teams to have good information gathering techniques and tools. We need to build comprehensive system diagrams, perform interviews, and make sure our documentation from the vendor is up to date. And then in phase 3, you establish the boundaries of what that is. You establish your technical details, you establish the target details, and you build the rest of the components that you need to test and validate. And it also lets you set great metrics to keep your organization on track. So supporting leadership and workforce. When we have these components together, the organization clearly understands what needs to happen first, second, and third, who's responsible, accountable, and consulted, and even informed for the process. Let's dive into that too. All of these have different components, and across your organization, you're going to have different people who are responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for control, and when that control is breached. So how do we implement this? We need to build really good control groups, right? And when we build a control group, we work together to establish all of these considerations to establish a security control. And then we work on the specialty areas that support it, right? And we do that by defining a work role description, a work role ID, and that lets us understand the knowledge, skills, and abilities that team member needs, along with the management and the leadership around that. So measuring success, well, we start to document all these components. That's going to let us really expand a key performance indicator and build a better system that's resilient. And this is why it's important to have ongoing and continuous evaluation and improvement. And the way that you're going to configure your systems being preventative is you're going to be able to extract those metrics for growth. The challenges are a lot of organizations don't want to take the time to do this work, but this focused work over 3 months will absolutely empower your organization to have a better understanding of your expenses, your costs, your spends, and where your organization is vulnerable. So consequence-driven, cyber-informed engineering is a change from responsive to preventative. It's a change of empowering your teams to build specific policies, processes, procedures, and technical controls that are resilient to an attack. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Thanks for staying. Hope you found it useful. We'll see you again.